Black Ops 6's newest title update is here, and today we're taking a look at what changed, what's new under the hood, and what you should know about. So drop your thoughts as we go along, drop a like if you enjoy the video, and make sure to subscribe for more Black Ops 6 coverage as we gear up for what's upcoming with Season 2, along with other FPS content here on the channel. I'd love to have in the community, but for now, let's get into it. Let's see what changed here with this. On the Black Ops 6 side of things here, we of course have multiplayer and zombies changes. Of the global changes, before we get into multiplayer, that is something that they increased all mantle speeds across the board. That goes globally for multiplayer, zombies, and even Warzone, which we'll touch on in a second when we get there. And then doors can be opened and or closed while sprinting. This is something that again makes their way into Warzone. That's probably where you're going to see this more so be relevant. A lot of people like to use those to sort of break the cameras of people going in and out of these doorways, or in evasive maneuvers trying to sort of set up obstacles or obstruct that view of a player that may have a line of sight on them as they're running away to end up plating up or putting on armor, something like that. But that was the stuff that we saw for the movement across the board here. Weapons, we saw the cleaver was added, though that is something that's added at the end of the reward track for the Squid Games event, which again, we'll get to in a second. The high roller wildcard was actually the first thing that we saw introduced straight to the armory. Normally we end up seeing this be something that is reserved for event items of functional use, like previous weapons or something you'd see in the prior events for Black Ops 6, or in the upcoming season once the changeover happens to Season 2. Any functional content in the battle pass from Season 1 would end up going into the armory as well, but this is the first thing that has gone straight there. So all this requires is to activate it, which I think it should be by default since it is the only thing in the Black Ops 6 armory, but it requires 100,000 XP to end up earning. Once you do, you end up having that wild card accessible in all Black Ops 6 game locations, mainly though for this, just multiplayer, since you're not taking upwards of 4 score streaks in zombies, but this will allow you to take that 4th score streak of whatever you'd like here with that. Then on the Black Ops 6 side of things, we also saw that score streaks in general had some of the most substantial changes, I'd say, which is kind of surprising. I kind of figured we'd see some weapon tuning. We did not. I figured we'd see a lot of bug fixes listed. We saw a decent bit, but some that are just like really niche and out there. But anyways, score streaks had these substantial changes. The RCXD had a damage nerf, doing a little less damage on the explosion now. The Archangel had a bug where sometimes you'd be shooting rockets instead of bullets after shooting that final Archangel rocket. The care packages dropped the rate at which you could earn the scout pulses, and instead now allows you to earn maybe other things of better value. The LDBR decreased the self-inflicted damage and reduced the score to 800, down from 950, so a nice little score change there. The Sentry Gun increased the fire rate and health, as well as lower the score by 50 to earn it, down to 950. The Hellstorm reduced its score to 1000, down from 1050. The Watchdog Helo got a slight buff to the damage and accuracy, as well as making it 50 score cheaper. The Strategic Bomber had its score reduced to 1100, down from 1300, and the AGR had a top speed and acceleration increase, while the Dreadnought rounds everything off, which increased the health of the plane, as well as dropped the score by 100 needed to earn it, making it 1700 rather than 1800. So zombies then, on the other side of the coin for Black Ops 6, saw a handful of changes to the swords on Citadel. This is something that is the overall buff to these and makes them a bit more viable as the main focal point of the map amidst a few nerfs that happened with the mid-season update. There were a plethora of bug fixes for the main quest, which was a huge concern for players that were attempting it. And while directed mode was introduced for Citadel this update, it also was announced though that because of these bugs in the main quest up until this point, they're extending the time in which you can earn those exclusive rewards until the end of Season 1 and the launch of Season 2. So you can still get those exclusive before directed rewards for doing the Easter egg, and honestly, with it now available with directed, you can train yourself a bit on it, which makes it pretty easy to obtain if you are sort of newer to the Easter egg on this map, which is definitely nice. One thing, speaking of directed, that I'm not a huge fan of is that they mentioned they extended the time between rounds and the delay between zombies spawning after 5 looped rounds at the round cap of directed mode, meaning that it's going to take substantially longer for zombies camo grinders if that's what you're looking to do with directed mode. And I get this is their way of like deterring players that aren't using directed mode solely for learning the Easter eggs, but like, I feel like that just changed just to kill the fun for the sake of killing the fun, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't hurt anyone else's game experience and is a feature that was there in game. So it's not like you're exploiting the game or anything like that. It just gave you a consistent way to get kills, headshots, or whatever challenge you're going for in a dependable manner, and allows you to just focus on that kind of stuff. So I don't quite agree with that one. I would love to see that reverted, but something tells me it's not going to be. But they also fixed a ton of other bugs and other items as well. One thing out of the Black Ops 6 side of things that I'm a little nervous about is, as of recording this, I don't have an answer to give on this definitively, but there's mention of challenge fixes for zombies in the Prestige challenge tracking, but no mention of multiplayer challenge tracking. I've been, for some reason I can't quite explain, I've been going for multiplayer 100% completion. I'm down to my final 10 challenges here. Might finish that up in the next day, 2 or 3, or whatever the case, but the challenge Flowing Low from the Prestige 1 challenge set has been bugged for a while now, and I'm just hoping that it's fixed. Same with a few Dark Ops challenges as well. The hardcore challenges don't seem to track, or weren't tracking as of a little bit ago, where those being 10 kills without dying, or a 10 kill streak in hardcore 10 times, as well as I think there was the like 10 triple kill medal or something like that, or better, which I did my entire camo grind in hardcore. So it's physically impossible that I did not complete that Dark Ops challenge because I got all my Dark Spine challenges done there. So it's quite possible I'm yapping for nothing and these are fixed, but that's my initial reaction to seeing some of the discrepancies in patch notes and what was mentioned for multiplayer versus zombies. But anyways, moving on, Warzone. Well, Warzone fans, it doesn't really get much better, unfortunately. The movement changes that were made in Black Ops 6 do apply to the Warzone experience as well, but beyond that, you had the battle-ready wildcard. That was changed to now grant players a supply box UAV and not a regular UAV, which is a change that I get it can be kind of overpowered, but like I kind of think this makes the wildcard totally useless now, in my opinion. The utility box is definitely nice to have, but to end up sacrificing gunfighter or overkill or something like that, I don't really think that it's going to be a solid pick rate on that from here on out. Could be wrong, but that's just my assumption at the moment. They also fixed a few bugs. Most notable, I'd say, is the occlusion for audio with parachutes, giving a more accurate representation of where players are falling in from. And well, that's about it. No anti-cheat update, no server stability fixes, no weapon tuning, no nothing there. The mess that Warzone was is still the mess that Warzone is after this update. The only hope is that maybe there's more coming soon, because they did mention recently we're closely examining reported audio inconsistencies, lighting and visibility concerns, keyboard and mouse functionality, irregular UAV behavior, and discrepancies with contracts on the TAC map, on top of the anti-cheat necessary adjustments and server stabilities they mentioned. But none of those changes were made with this update. So if not now, when? But again, I'm also not necessarily getting my hopes up for that until Season 2. If they're not really acting on a sense of urgency for these things that have been game-breaking since the start of Season 1 and the Season 1 Reloaded update, I don't know that they're necessarily going to rush back into that now when we only have 3 weeks left on the season. Sucks to say that, but that's kind of where my sort of mentality is in expecting things like that. Beyond that, of course, you also have all that new content, I guess you could say, that was a part of the update that we've already talked about. But again, a lot of that new content is basically just that new event pass based on XP and or the paid items, and what will be shop bundles and a few new LTMs here across multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone. But all in all, I don't think this was a great update. I don't think this is what a lot of people were hoping for, and I think there's a lot to still be desired. I feel like coming out of this holiday break and how much was plaguing the game over the last couple of weeks here with this, I think that a lot of players were expecting more and hoping for a lot more in regards to changes, weapon tuning, fundamental adjustments to anti-cheat and server stability, and a lot of other things that didn't happen. So fingers crossed we get a follow-up here and more adjustments continually, but I'm a little worried this might be all that we have until Season 2, which is a long 3 weeks and a few days in change away still. So that said, that's the update that we had here as of today and what this new event update brought along with it. So let me know your thoughts down below. What are you guys thinking of this update? Like it, dislike it, let me know. But if you guys enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 6 as we gear up for Season 2 upcoming and other stuff as well in the FPS space. I'd love to have you in the community. But for now, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.